welcome. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator here in New South Wales, Australia. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please jump on, say hello. I feel like I'm sitting down fairly low, but I've moved my camera around a little bit and I think I need to adjust it a bit more. I feel like I'm sitting right down on the bottom of the screen. Usually I'm too far up and I feel like my head's being chopped off. So I've still got to work on getting that happy medium. So I hope you're having a great day today. It's Saturday here in Australia in New South Wales, and sitting here in my craft room, it looks like the trees outside are a bit blowing around a little bit, so it looks like it's a little bit windy and probably a little bit cool. Let me just have a quick look. Oh, we're going to have sun today, that's for certain. I'm just looking at my phone, looking at the weather here. But it says that it's outside, it's about 5 degrees. And it tells me that it feels like, it's not too bad. It actually tells me that it's got a feels like of about 4. So not too bad. Let me just pop that away so we've got no one disturbing us. I've got that on silent. Hello, Deborah. How are you? Thank you very much for joining. So we're going to do a little bit of scrapbooking. Now, there's a little bit of a backstory here. I'm doing something that I've had sitting on my shelf for too long. As I said when I first started doing these lives on a Saturday morning, I'm trying to use up what I have in my stash. I have been searching around for some photos. I seem to be always searching for photos. I think I've got them all organised, and then I find out probably not quite organised as well as what I should have. But anyway, I managed to find some photos that I was after. I had bought a workshop kit when Stamping Up first brought them out, and I haven't even touched it. Well, I have used little bits out of it, but I haven't sort of done the photos I wanted to do until now, because I've found my photos, I've printed them now, I've got them all ready to go. So I thought I'd do this with you today. I was planning on doing something a bit different last night, but when I was sort of prepping for what I was going to do today, I discovered I've got a photo album missing. Goodness knows where. I don't think I've seen it while we've been living in this house, which is 12 years. So, and it's all on one of my boys from his first 3 years of his life. So I'm hoping that this afternoon, when my husband and I sort of re-sort things again for the umpteenth time, that we might find it. Oh, I'm glad you watched the replay last night, Deborah, and I hope you enjoyed it. That was some new products. So I'm trying to work out. I've got to make up some Christmas Christmas layouts so that I can get them done. But it's very hard when you work. Some people will build a layout and then put photos on it later. What I tend to do is I like to have my photos and then I build my layout around my photos. So I sort of work in a different format to some people. And I'm probably not alone in doing it that way, but it just means that I'm sort of working on Christmas past rather than Christmas forward. So, but anyway, so that's the reason why we're going to be working on an old workshop kit today, because I just cannot. I spent too much time last night trying to find this photo album. So what I'm going to do today, hopefully we're going to rearrange our lounge room, because we've got a great big huge bookcase in our lounge room, but it's got a big heavy 3-seater lounge in front of it and I can't get to it, and that's where all the photo albums are. Now I'm going to transfer all those photo albums into this room. Now I'm not quite sure yet how. I've got a wardrobe here on one side of me, and I'm just wondering, is my camera around the wrong way? Oh, we'll have to sort that out in a minute. Yeah, I've got a wardrobe on one side of me, and in that wardrobe I've got a top shelf which is just junk thrown up there. That's all going to have to come out, and I'm going to put all my scrapbook albums in there, so I don't have to go, or all my photo albums, so I don't have to go searching all over the place. the alternative is I've got a couple of spaces up the top up here, this side here, whoops, just about there, where I've got some bits and pieces, Basil scrapbook paper and other scrapbook bits and pieces that I haven't touched for a long time. So maybe even put some of the albums there. So I may move what's on that shelf there across a bit. But it just means reorganising. One thing I can say, because I do know, okay, yeah, I've lost this album. I don't know where it is. I spent a lot of time on it. It was a Creative Memories album from when I was in Creative Memories. And I know I did some really nice pages in it. So I've got to find them and get them sorted out. But it really made me sort of think last night, and I've pushed on this a few times, but not recently. Just be very careful where you keep your photos. Keep your photos on your phone. I mean, I've heard over the years, people say, I've got over 1,000 photos on my phone or a couple of thousand photos on my phone. What happens if you lose your phone? What happens if, your phone gets dropped or gets lost or gets stolen? All those photos are gone. Take your photos off your phone. Don't keep them on your phone. Now, a lot of the photos that I'm talking about are photos pre-digital. So, you've got your negatives, but your negatives are deteriorating. You've got, if you've printed them, yes, you've got photos, and you might have them lying all over the place. Collate them all into one spot, whether they're collated into your photo albums or collated into a photo storage box. Now I'm going to go over a lot of this stuff as time goes by. And as I have sorted a lot of stuff out into photos, into years and so forth before, and I've talked about that before, but I have got a whole stack of archival boxes, which I want to move those photos onto there. So it's just like all the photos, this album is full of photos that were pre-digital. Okay, so they're lost. When you store things on your photos, don't just store them in one spot. So if you've got them in a negative form or on a disc form, just remember your discs and your negatives will just start to deteriorate. Put them onto a thumb drive. Put them onto some sort of hard drive. But again, be very careful. Have them in more than one spot. Like I've got photos on my computer and I've got photos on a thumb drive, and it's quite a big thumb drive. I had photos once upon a time on a hard drive, but my hard drive got corrupted, and so I've lost all those photos. So I've got a couple of years worth of photos that are completely gone forever. So it's always good to either have them printed in, I reckon, 3 places. Print them out, store them on a disc or store them on negatives, store them on your computer, store them in the cloud, have them in a couple of different places, because then if one of those gets lost, you've still got them on another. So just my little bit of a soapbox moment this morning. But let's get started in actually scrapbooking, because we are going to do a double page spread, and I do want to show you what we're going to be doing. But I just had to explain a little bit why we're doing something that's a little bit old. But anyway, now I'm just going to bring that in like that. Okay then. So now I hope I've sorted out how you guys can see my whole table. It just means I've got to keep everything clean and not work in such a mess. So these are the photos that I'm going to be working on. These are the ones I had misplaced. What I had misplaced, and let me just grab it from over here, is I had these photos printed and I couldn't remember what size I had printed them to, and I knew I had them printed, and because I spent a lot of time playing with these photos years ago, and this is the photo I'd lost and I couldn't find, which is the larger version of this one here, and this is done on an A4, and I couldn't remember what size it was. I was hoping it was going to be slightly smaller so I could reuse it. These are my 2 youngest boys. We were in Katoomba and they were having fun at Echo Point, playing in the leaves that autumn. So here they are here, throwing the leaves in the air. So they're the 2 youngest out of my 4 boys, and these are the ones I've been looking for and wanting to scrap. So I have found them, I found them on my computer in what year they were in. So now I know that these were in 2006. And so I've pulled out my papers at long last to do this. Now, because I have used some of these papers for another layout a while back, I haven't got a couple of pieces. So I'm sort of using the guide they've got here as what I'm working from. So I'm using the Autumn to Remember and the layout one, and I am going to do a double page spread, but I don't have all the elements that they've used, so we're going to tweak this a little bit, but it's not tweaked by too much. So let's get started. So what we need to do, we've got these 3 panels here. Now I've already pre-cut everything. I've already inked around everything, so we can just get this all laid out. Now I don't have enough of this grey layer here, and I'm not quite sure whether I actually even want to put this sticker piece that's down the bottom onto this layer. So I've already cut these, and I will say I have cut this pattern one in the wrong direction, but that's okay. I'm not going to be too worried about that, and I'm just going to lay this out roughly where this is going to go, and then we can have a look at this and adhere it all down. So this one here is going to go in the center. So I think if I pop this center one in first, and then the others will fit either side. Now I think because I'm not going to put that yellow strip down the bottom, because I'm leaving out that grey, that I can just bring those down a little bit. So that's where I'm going to adhere those two. Now I do have a ruler here, and I am going to turn this around so I can make sure that I'm going to have this piece here right in that center. So I've got, this piece is about 10 centimeters, so I want it to be around about there, I think. So if I've got those two there on either side, then that's where I think that's going to go. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that I've got that piece lined up exactly, and I'm sort of eyeballing this a little bit, and I'm not really measuring it down from the top. I'm just sort of going, yep, that should be about right there. And actually what I might do is grab my, if I can work out where I have put it. Oh, way over there. Okay, let me have a look. I've got a flatter ruler. I have one here. I might just use this. It sort of sits a little bit flatter on my page here, and I do have markings on this. This probably works out a little bit better for me. So I want that one to go about there. So I'm just going to use my seal, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of this in a couple of spots. Whoops. You're working on something and then your seal decides it doesn't want to work. Let's grab the other one. So I'm going to pop that. Let's just pop that right on there. This is a great ruler, this one. I should use it more. So 6 is about my middle. And I want that piece there like that. And this one is going to go on the other side. Now each of these panels are cut around about 10 centimeters wide, or 4 inches. I think they were actually 3.5, because we want that little bit narrower on the other side. And that one can line up, and as you can see, they're not quite as long as that one in the middle. And by inking up all around those edges too, just helps to highlight that paper so it's not just blending in. The trick with these runners is trying to keep them nice and square, so then the adhesive doesn't move on them. And this one here we want to have sitting around about there. So that's our first page. I'm going to grab my other sheet of Old Olive, and I am using the dark side. And we're going to do this again. Just line this up. So I'm probably using about 3/4 of an inch from the top. And again, this one here is going to go into the middle. It's going to go about there. And then, because I'm just turning this upside down, I've got that piece on this side, and these two are going to go together. I want to have this piece on this side here. I want them to be on my outside edges. So this is going to go over here. Now, normally I take a lot of care when working out the direction of my paper. I must have been just really exhausted last night trying to get this all ready, to get my layers cut the wrong way. I really wasn't thinking. So what are you up to today, Deborah? You got anything exciting on? Okay, so there's our second page. So we're going to have one page like that, and our other page is going to be like that. Oh, this works out so much better the way I've set this up, so then you can see the whole lot together. Okay, so that's that one. So now we're going to work on this page here. Now what I've got here is another piece of cardstock, which is going to go into the center there. So I'm going to adhere that down. And this is going to be the piece that my large photo is going to sit on. So what I might do before I start gluing that down is just move that one out of the road. And I want to get this square. I should have one of my other mats. And line that up about there. Now I could pull out the instructions and find out exactly where they want this to go, but I'm going to do this by eye, and I think I want that a bit further down. And I've got that roughly 5, 10, and I think I want that about maybe down a bit more, not too much more. Whoops, just moved that the last minute. Want that about there. And then on that is going to go our photo. So our large photo is going to sit in the middle there, but we also have, which I have got here somewhere. Now I have also mounted my photos on some Whisper or some Willow White cardstock. And that's going to go around there like so. So let's move that out of the road, and what we might do is pop this on first before I glue my photo down. Now on the back of this has got written 1, so we want that side to be upright. And I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue just to dot that around. Oh, good. To show me one day, send me some photos of your completed scrapbook pages. Now I'm just going to pop some little bit of glue on this because I don't want to have too much oozing out everywhere. I actually went, because I was looking for this album last night, I pulled out photo albums left, right and centre, and went through some of my albums that I've done in the past, and you know, I had forgotten a lot of them, and it's like, oh, I actually used acrylic paints on that page and hadn't realised that I had done all these things. I had a nice time praising myself for some of my scrapbook layouts. I think over the years I've sort of lost a lot of confidence in myself. So I'm going to have to start working a lot more on my albums and building up my own confidence. Okay, I'm actually quite liking that. And I think having that white circle and then the white mat around the photo sort of brings that in a little bit. My photo was getting a little bit lost if I didn't mat it with those trees. And I didn't want to bring in basic beige, which is what I used instead of willow white if I feel like the white is too stark, because there's no basic, well, I don't think we even had basic beige back then. There we go. There's that one. Now, let's have a look at what they've popped on here. I have got some of these bits and pieces here. So we've got this little banner here, which is going to go up the top there. I probably could have brought my photos down a little bit more, but that's okay. And I've already written on there Katoomba Echo Point. So let's just pop a little bit of adhesive on the back of that, since we know where that's going to go. Oh, that would have been nice. I'd love to go to a scrapbooking retreat. It's been so long since I've done anything like that. I mean, I have a group. We meet in Goulburn 4 times a year. So we've got one, and it's just for one day, and we've got that happening quite soon. So we have some chevron pieces here that go with this. So they've got the green one, the orange one, and I've also gone around and inked these as well, and then the yellow ones. They've got 3 chevron pieces there following the circle, and then they have just 2 up here. So we're just going to lie that down for the moment and just sort of see how this is going to build up and where we're happy. Also on this one, we've got this little piece here, which they've sort of popped out the side here. But this one also came with this piece here, which has got lots of bits and pieces in it. And we've also got some sticker pieces to go on here as well. So let's pull out all of these, and the sticker sheet is just here. They've got golden leaves and autumn breeze, which I think works quite well, which is going to go about there. Then we have this piece here, which I've already popped the date and everything on, because we know that that was in April 2006. And I'm just having a look where they've positioned it. They've positioned that equally underneath. So let's go there. So that's starting to fill in some of that space. I'm starting to quite like this. And then they have some of these autumn leaves. So let's have a look. What have we got here? I think they've used one of those. It probably wouldn't matter if they haven't. So we've got that particular leaf, which is similar to the leaves that they were playing with. Now we could also ink around these very quickly. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 5 of these leaves. So there's 3 there. There's another little one here. And this has just got a really nice wood tones on it. That one there needs to come out for the next page. So let's have a look. We might pull a few more of these out. So that one comes out for the next page. And then we have some tree type pieces. So there's one. Two. And they used that one. So there's those. And do we need any more? So there's 3 there. And I think that's it for the wood pieces on that one. Okay. So let's adhere some of these pieces down. So I'm going to do this middle one first. Because that will set the, and I'm just using seal to put all these on. Now I'm just going to slightly, no, I don't think I want to slightly move that. I just might keep it going in the same direction. So what sort of photos are you working on today, Deborah? If you're going to be doing some scrapbooking, are they of children, grandchildren, holiday? This one here, we can pop that on just there a little bit. I'm not going to take it over. Then we want these ones up here. I must say, since doing this live on a Saturday, I am getting more of my pages completed, which has been good. Now, I've just got some got a dauber here, and I have got some early espresso ink. Okay, and so what sort of photos were you working on last week then? I'm just going to very quickly just go around these little pieces. I'm not worrying about getting into all the edges. I just want to put a little bit of colour onto them. These are sort of like they're not a timber, they look like a timber with the printing, but they're actually just like a heavier chipboard. I'm still working on my album about me. I've got to get in and print up some lists, and that's something that you guys don't need to see me do. So that's why I've sort of been working on some of these sort of pages. So I've got to add lists in my album about me, about where I've lived in the past. Then I've got a few more photos to find from different things that I've done throughout my life that I want to document. Some of them are going to also get scrapped on some 12 by 12 pages. I did a event back when I was mid-20s. Miss Large and Lovely contest. It was raising money for multiple sclerosis, and it was run by a shop in Sydney that catered for women of larger sizes. And one of the people that, I don't know whether sponsored would be the right word, but one of the people that used to advertise it was a lady called Sue, I think it was Cruikshank. I have to look for her. She was a singer. She was a jazz singer. She was a large lady. Don't think she's around anymore. But she used to advertise this Miss Large and Lovely, and she was a friend of my boss at the time and said, you should do that. And so I ended up doing it. Okay, so you have scrapbooks and pages. That's okay if you do them from another company. I mean, I've got stacks of paper around here from other companies, and I've been sort of wondering whether I might pull them out and even do some of them myself. And it's always good to see, you know, and it's where you get your other ideas from too. And to be truthful, I mean, Stampin' Up! Have got a lot of beautiful, beautiful papers and everything, but not necessarily things that go with everything we've got. So, and I think I need some more of these pieces here. Let's see, are there any more flower leaf type pieces? I've got another leaf here, which I think I need. You know, so like I've got it in the cupboard. I can't think now what they were called, but a company called, I think, Yellow Bicycle or something. Lots of boys' papers, and that's something that I'm sort of always looking for, is inspiration for layouts with boys. But a lot of Stampin' Up! Beautiful, beautiful things, but they're all very flowery. And I love my florals, and I am going to do some layouts with them. I've got one planned here to do. I've just got to work out the layout for it. But I just sometimes wish that I had a few more bright colours and boy type, not necessarily boy, but I mean, you know, things, cars, trucks. But, I mean, you know what, we could use any papers. It's the elements we put on. And it's just working out what elements we can use. Now, I want this one here. Swap that one about there. I think I've still got to find a few more leaves, to be honest. I want this one here to be about there. Oops, I might have too much glue on that. Just using a bit of scrap paper I've got here. And I want that one at about there. This one here might be a bit too big. Let's have a look. We got another small. Yep, we've got a couple of them up here. Just be very careful when you're using your daubers going around little hard pieces like this with sharp corners, because it will deteriorate your dauber. So, not that they're that expensive, but let's put that one into there. And this one here is going to go over here. But they will rip into your dauber a bit, and then you'll end up with inky. Actually, might pop that one up here somewhere. Actually, inks fibre all over, and you don't want to then to have that spread. So that is the first page. I think I've got everything on there that they recommended, probably plus a little bit more. But there we go. There's my first page done. So let's bring in my second one. This is the beauty, I suppose, of doing these workshop kits, is that it doesn't take long to put all these pieces down. So this one here is going to go across there. Now, I popped this one at roughly about 4 1/8 from the bottom. Now, this one here is not as big. Probably going to go, let's just do this by eye. It's a lot quicker. I pop that there. So that one I'm probably wanting, because it's not as deep, but around about there, I think. I think that's going to look about right. So if I'm happy with that, what I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of adhesive there. Lift this side up here. And that can go there. Because this is going to be on a page protector, so I think that's going to be held quite nicely. Then these two photos here, we're going to have one here, because this one here, Robert's sort of looking inwards. And then that one is going to go there. So I'll adhere those down now. And these photos are a little bit blurry, but, you know, that's okay because it's actually telling the story. And then that one is going to go there. Then on this section here, they have got that piece is to go onto there. And I haven't written on that yet, so I'm not going to adhere that down. But what they do have on there, if we pull out that sticker sheet again, they have used Leaves Abound from All Around, which I think is actually quite good. So we might also use that one. Pop out that little piece there. And I'm just going to sit that, because that's just going to go on there. I'm not pushing that down just as yet because they've also used that piece, this piece here, which is a die cut, and there must be 2 tags on here, 2 and 3 tags. There's this tag here, so I'm just going to pop that there for the moment. There's this little one here. There must be another little thin one, that one there, I think. Just trying to have a look to see what I can see on this. No, they haven't used this one. Let's pop that one back just in case we need it for something else. They've used a couple of mushrooms, which is this one here. So now the other thing I have noticed too, because they had another mat underneath here, they had these overlapped, and I've put them all side by side. So that's just something that you can, it's up to you on how you want to do it. And I'm just going to pop that just there. They've actually popped this one here underneath, which I've stuck on my plate. This one here I might move across a little bit. Just want to go over that. That one can go there. That one can go there, and then that one they've placed at about there. So we can pop all that down. Now if you wanted to, you could put a bit of string in there, but I'm quite happy with that. There now, they've got these 3 trees. Positioned down here. Now that's where they've got those grounded with that sticker sheet, and I'm not using that. But I think that still looks okay. I just don't want to take it all the way to the edge, but I'm just going to leave them there for a second. And then they've used the word autumn. They've got the stickers for that up the top. Just going to stick those onto my box there for a little bit, just on that edge. And I want that one coming about there. And I'm just going to use the line that's in on the paper there as my guide. Might bring that one over just a little bit more if I can lift it. Just make sure that that end is straight. And then the arrows, that's looking, what do you think? So where was your retreat, Deborah? Did you have to travel very far to get to it? And we just need to glue these down at the bottom. Now this one here I'm going to stick up on a dimensional because it's overlapping the other one. Pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. And I'm going to give that a come down a little bit. And then this one here. Just come up a little bit there. There's only, besides writing on that and gluing that down, this one just has one little sticker, which is, says good times here. And I might actually just pop that directly on top of that. There. So that is that page. So after all this time and trying to find photos, print them, I have at last got those done. So there we go. So I hope you don't mind looking at something that's old, but approximately an hour away. Oh, Wangaratta. Oh, nice. That's a lovely area too. Haven't been down there for a long time. And actually some of our photos that I found were photos that we went to a family reunion down in Gippsland. Oh, golly, years ago. Patrick was only, in this photo here in 2006, he was 5, so he would have only been about 2 or 3, I think, when we went down there last time. And, yeah, family reunion down there, and I had all these photos of our trip heading down. So they were Broken Hill and, not Broken Hill, Sovereign Hill, and all those places down there heading south as we travelled south. But yeah, I've got to scrap them too. I've got them half done. But anyway, that's just, I mean, I hope I've inspired you to get in maybe today. I know you are, Deborah, getting in and doing some more scrapbooking, but just getting some of these projects completed. You know, these photos have just been sitting around for way, way too long, and, you know, got to use up these kits and get them done as well. And even though I have not used everything out of the kit for this one, I think I actually probably prefer it like it is. I'm a very simple scrapbooker. I like my photos to be my highlight, and this was just a lot of fun. I do have other photos from this particular day of us all mucking around, because this wasn't very far from the Three Sisters, just in a little park, just a short walk away. But I've got other ones of all of us mucking around at the Three Sisters as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. As I was saying before, please get your photos out, organise them into some sort of organisation, store them at least in 3 different places if you've got them digitally. Don't leave them on your phone for too long in case you lose your phone. And always check your hard drives and everything just to make sure that they're there, because I have lost considerably a lot of photos because I hadn't done it, and I've always been fairly strict with it. Mind you, it was just a fluke that I lost it on that hard drive. But anyway, have a lovely day. Happy scrapbooking. Please share with me, Deborah, what you've done. If you want to do that, you can just message me and send me a couple of photos, because I'd really love to see what you're working on. And I've just realised that leaf. Oh, well, I suppose that leaf can just stay like that. It's almost upside down. Looks like a tree upside down because it's the same shape as that one there. But anyway, that's okay. Page is done. It's completed. I just have to do my journaling now. So take care. Have a lovely day. Happy scrapping. Bye for now.